Kansas Speedway, the stars of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series converging on this great race facility for race number 8 of the Camping World Truck Series season. And we're at that halfway point. Kansas City, Kansas, and about 13 miles from Kansas City, Missouri. So we cover all the bases here, and so glad to be here and have you along with us, along with Michael Waltrip. I'm Vince Welch, and this is the third of 7 mile-and-a-half tracks. We've got a 20-minute practice session coming up and then qualifying. But this is a little more important from the mile-and-a-half perspective because we're going to come back here in the playoffs, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, Vince, we raced the mile-and-a-half out in Vegas early in the season, and then we went to Atlanta, which is a mile-and-a-half also, but it doesn't count. It's a super speedway now. So these teams have been developing new trucks and getting ready for this race specifically because of the importance of it. You said it'll be in the playoffs later in the year, so you want to see where you are. Really important race from my eyes to see who's able to hit it, what these new trucks, there are several teams down there that have a new design, new development of their trucks, and how those trucks run and who's going to be the fastest. It was really interesting, I thought, at Darlington. After about 15 minutes of practice, we said, if John Hunter Nemechek doesn't mess up, he's going to win this race. And, you know, a lot of times they do figure out a way to mess up.
Yes,
but not last weekend. It was a dominating performance. Who is that guy today?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. We've got a couple of late developments. First of all, the 52 truck, Stuart Friesen, having some travel issues, hasn't been able to get here to the track. And Bubba Wallace is filling in for this practice and qualifying in the 52 truck. Let's get more on that. Go downstairs to Josh Sims.
Yeah, and I just talked with the crew chief of the 52 team, John Leonard, who said the plan was for Stuart Friesen to get down here early yesterday, but you know how Mother Nature goes. Travel delays for Stuart. He's in Chicago right now, waiting to get a flight down here. So in the meantime, this morning, Trip Bruce called up fellow Toyota driver Bubba Wallace, asked him if he would hop in for practice and qualifying. Bubba said, of course he will. So he's about to get out there and take some laps and get some info that they'll need for Stuart Friesen for later on. They didn't have to make too many adjustments, just put Bubba's insert in there. Everything else was pretty much good to go. So you'll see Bubba Wallace in the 52 for practice and qualifying, and Stuart Friesen hopefully here tonight for the race, guys.
I see a lot of advantages for Bubba and the Hallmark Friesen team to have a guy like Bubba get in the truck at this stage. What do you see, how do you see it, and what are those advantages?
Bubba's won at this level, and he's won 6 times, so he knows how to get the job done behind the wheel. It's always, you know, Stuart is a great racer, but it's always fun to get a differing opinion. Tell me what you think about what we're doing and how we're going about things. And Bubba's experience and his knowledge and his speed makes him the perfect guy to hop in that truck and see what's going on.
So this practice session will lead us right into qualifying, and qualifying will be a single lap for each of these drivers. Of course, we'll set the field for tonight's race here at Kansas.
This session, Vince, it's really important for trucks that we know will be contending for the win. Just to hop out there, have a truck that they like. The balance is good right off the bat. Run 10, 15, 20 laps and see what direction your truck heads, what adjustments you need to be fast at the end of a run. So there'll be varying agendas. Guys will make a couple laps and say this isn't any good, but I'm going to look for whoever runs the most laps first. You know, whoever gets on out to 20-some laps and says, okay, we like our truck, let's go qualify now.
Tanner Gray, see him on screen in the 15 truck, he needs a good race. I mean, last week at Darlington, Gray finished 34th due to an accident, but most importantly, he lost 40 points to the playoff cut line. So he went from being in the playoff picture to well outside the playoff picture, and that's a big blow. As we said, we're at the halfway point in the regular season. I know we've got a lot of racing to go, but man, you don't want to dig yourself into that hole.
Well, he came out of the gates smoking this year. He finished in the top 10 3 straight races, and you mentioned, Vince, look what happened lately. Down below the cut line is Tanner Gray. So Crafton had a penalty after the race at Darlington. That penalty was rescinded, so he got his points back. It just makes it really tight right there where it depends if you make the playoffs or not.
You know, you bring up the Crafton penalty. He finished 5th in the race, crossed the line 5th, but then was DQ'd in post-race tech. They appealed, had the appeal overturned, ended up being a 38-point swing for Crafton. So instead of being 24 behind the cut line, he's now 14 to the good. I mean, that is a huge break.
It is, and the speed he had at Darlington was probably the most we've seen from that team all season long. So he was able to get out there, run fast, run up front all night long, get a top 5 finish, and then just take a gut punch on in post-race inspection. And the details, they're still working through NASCAR to understand exactly what happened there. But the team got their finishing position back. And I look for Matt to be really strong here. He's always good on the 1.5 miles. And that team's performance last week tells me they found a little bit of something with the 88 truck.
Well, and he is a 3-time winner here at Kansas. So you see the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek, last week's winner at Darlington. And frankly, we're in this section of the schedule where we've got 3 consecutive 1.5 miles on the heels of Darlington. I mean, this section of the schedule is right in the wheelhouse of this KBM team.
Well, last week was impressive. We've talked about that, and what a dominating performance. But man, winning a truck race, it's just so hard because of the craziness that goes on, especially if you get a late restart. You never know what you're going to get. 3-4 wide, pushing and shoving. But this is exactly, as you said, Vince, right where this team likes to operate. They're going to be good anywhere we go, but this is especially the kind of track that we've seen KBM perform well at.
In fact, they've won 7 of the last 8 on a 1.5 miles, as you see the 52 of Bubba Wallace. If you're just joining us, Bubba subbing for Stuart Friesen during this practice and qualifying session. Friesen having some travel issues, unable to get here to the track in time for practice and qualifying.
99.
I'll be interested to hear from Bubba. I talked to Daniel Hemrick a week or so ago about running the Xfinity car and then getting in the next-gen new Cup car and the differences between the two. And he said it's daylight and dark, Mike, how much different you have to drive the 2 vehicles. Well, I don't know if there's anything more than daylight to dark when it comes to that saying, but Bubba driving this truck is something that is going to really, I think it's a benefit to go out there and run laps. He's going to get used to the track. He's going to feel good about going 180 miles an hour down the corners. All that's important. But it's going to be interesting to me for him to compare the two race cars, 2 vehicles.
Yeah, and I liked your point earlier, too. It also gives the Hallmark Friesen team some different feedback than what they get from Stewart, and an opportunity to compare those 2 elements. Practice continuing at Kansas. Don't miss tomorrow. The NASCAR Cup Series is right here in Kansas. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and the best of the best battling for the checkered flag. Coverage begins tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern. Green flag drops about 3 o'clock, only on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
A couple of Kyles, one here a year ago. Busch in the spring, Larson in the fall. So be interesting to see what happens come tomorrow afternoon, man. It's been a great season of NASCAR, hasn't it? A lot of fun.
Indeed, yes. The Xfinity Series has this weekend off and gives Riley Herbst an opportunity to say, hey, I don't want to take the weekend off. I want to jump in that 17 truck for David Gilliland Racing and get some laps in here in Kansas. And there he is.
Good looking Monster Energy ride.
Yep.
We're used to seeing Riley with those with the Monster Claw and whatever he drives, and it's cool. It's cool to see him say, all right, I need some more lap time. I'm a kid, I want to learn more. Let's hear what he's saying on the radio.
It gets in the corner fine, lands fine, 5/8 mark. I have no rear grip. It just slides all the way through. I got crossed up about a 2-1. I don't have a rear grip off of the corners. Like trying to stay committed to the gas off the exit. I just get loose.
Wow, that's detailed explanation. That's exactly what a young racer is supposed to do. You know, just try to relate any detail that he can think of, articulate everything that's on your mind so the crew chief can dig in and say, all right, I can fix that rear grip issue without hurting the front. That's sort of the balance you're faced with, Vince. How do you fix the back without hurting the front? Seems like he's really happy with the way the front is working. Just needs a little bit more grip back there on those rear Goodyears.
And he is 5th quick so far through this 20-minute practice session, leading us into qualifying. How significant? You get 20 minutes, but you can't really make too significant of changes in that amount of time. I mean, it's still very important to roll off the hauler close, right?
Yeah, and like I said, you really want to, perfect world, you roll off the hauler, you like your truck, you run 15, 20 laps, and you say, all right, let's qualify and get ready to go tonight. And we've seen some guys be able to do just that. Matt Crafton ran 12 laps. Bubba Wallace ran 11. But then other guys I thought might stay out there a little bit longer, like John Hunter Nemechek came to pit road. Nemechek's used to be in first, by the way, Vince, and he's down in 9th position. So evidently there was something he felt like he needed to work on. Talked to the crew chief and the team, and came in the pits to do just that.
There's Nemechek's teammate at Kyle Busch Motorsports in that 51 truck, and that is Corey Heim, who also won pole in qualifying for the ARCA race later today. You'll see here on FS1 at 2 o'clock Eastern.
155, good lap.
Good lap. I like that. And he also won an ARCA race here before a race here. So he won that exciting run in Atlanta. What a thrilling finish that was. So this kid's got a lot of speed.
Just 19 years old, and this is also the first time he's had the opportunity to run consecutive weeks. He ran last week at Darlington, getting to run this week at Kansas. He'll run again next week. Those consecutive opportunities are important, aren't they?
They are, and when you can get it done at this level in a thrilling finish like we saw at Atlanta at 19 years old, I mean, we talk about experience being important. Sometimes if you just know how to hold the gas down hard and have natural ability, you can figure it out without any experience, and that's what he did there.
Super impressive young racer, and we'll be talking about him for years to come. Corey Heim, as mentioned, just 19 years old. And how about the 22 of Austin Wayne Self getting around? Going to bring out the caution, or the red flag as it is in practice. Over in turn 2.
Yeah, a lot of smoke from that big spin over there.
The tires are down.
Doesn't look like he hit anything, so that's good news.
Austin,
down
Texas.
The center.
See if
it
we
doesn't
can
feel that free, and then as soon as I touch the steering wheel, try to keep putting wheel in it, whatever, it just overreacts.
Well, that's a nice job laying on the gas there and keeping the thing down off that outside wall. Crew Chief Ryan Solomon can go to work on it and adjust it. Now they don't have to be worried about pulling it back up off the trailer, and it didn't look good there for a bit.
Just under 5 minutes left in this practice session that will take us to qualifying for the Camping World Trucks at Kansas.
I love how we embrace the men and women of the military that are with us today, and how we honor and respect those ones that have passed.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
This is a big event. This is a crown jewel. It has tradition and history that surrounds it, and you feel that electricity.
I know we're racing tonight, but we're racing for them, for what they've done for us.
The Coca-Cola 600 Memorial Day weekend.
Just over a minute left here in this practice, leading us to qualifying for the Camping World Truck Series at Kansas Speedway. You see Zane Smith has been fastest so far as you look at John Hunter Nemechek and Tanner Gray in the 4 and 15 trucks.
Tanner Gray's having a good session. He's second quick in the best consecutive 5-lap average, which is something these teams really look to. They don't necessarily, they want to be at the top of the board, Vince, but they're more important about, or more focused on how well their truck handles after 5-10 laps.
Comfortable with it. If he shoots bottom here, maybe run third lane just above the top seam.
That sounds fun. You want to do that, Vince? Let's take it up top. That's where he went, too.
This is one of those places where you can move around.
100%. We're going to see 4 wide tonight, and that's something that's crazy to say, but that's going to happen, and it's because of the direction the spotter just gave. Go up top, run that higher line, and see what you got.
Riding with Carson Hocevar, back-to-back runner-up finishes, and leads you to believe that that first career win could be just around the corner.
He's been so fun to watch. I mean, really fast.
I don't know. He handled fine. I was almost maybe just a touch tight with the nose.
Feedback from Hocevar.
When you handle good, Vince, and you're 17th, on the scoring pylon, that's not a good thing necessarily, because you're like, I need more speed, and I'm doing my job in the corners. It's working fine.
Look at Grant Enfinger, who was 10th quick in that practice session. I know you spent some good time with him this week.
He's got a pig named Wilbur.
Looking forward to hearing more about that. Later tonight, Camping World Truck Series race number 8 of the regular season from right here at Kansas Speedway, live at 8 o'clock Eastern. See it on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. With Michael Waltrip, I'm Vince Welch. Kurt Busch will join us tonight for the race here at Kansas. Looking forward to that. And, well, Stuart Friesen hopes to be here tonight at Kansas as well, but he's been stuck at the airport in O'Hare, Chicago, and could not make it for this practice or qualifying session, but plans on being here tonight. I know that group got their fingers crossed, but in the meantime, Bubba Wallace has been running the truck for this practice session and will qualify it as well, and Josh is with him.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace thought he'd just be driving the Cup car this weekend, but hopping back in the truck, how did it feel? Was it different than what you remember?
Oh, yeah. My last truck race on a speedway was, I think, Kansas here, 2019, maybe. So just remembering, everything and how big of a shelf these trucks have and how much you can lean on. I feel like our truck is pretty tight right now, which is what Stewie likes. So that's what I made sure I didn't want to dial it out for him just in case he gets here in time for the race tonight. But, man, flying out of New York is always tough, no matter what, if it's a race weekend or not. So just glad for the opportunity. I mean, I landed and got a text from Tripp and said, hey, we need you to fill in for practice qualifying. I'm like, all right. So it's not as easy as jumping in and just doing it. We got to go through a bunch of hurdles, but everything got cleared from the Cup side and sponsorship stuff. So it's good to be back in the Truck Series.
Good to have you back. And then for you, how can this help you for the Cup race this weekend?
I mean, it's good to get a read on the track. And, the track is green, had a little bit of ARCA rubber out there. So you're chasing that a little bit. But just to get you in the mindset of Kansas, these trucks feel like we're, slower than the Cup car. So hopefully that plays into our advantage, get up to speed a little bit quicker. But just filling everything out, got to mess around with some traffic, just see how things were different from the Cup cars. So just keeping the notebook open and learning.
There you go. Appreciate your time and good luck, Bubba.
Obviously a completely different tire in the Truck Series than what they run in the Cup Series, a different type of vehicle. But I love that drivers always just want laps, right, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about that, Vince. It's 180 miles an hour into a corner, and, you're trying hard to not lift at all. And so anytime you can get that under your belt and take a deep breath and know what the rubber on the road feels like and the groove widening out like it has, it's certainly something a race car driver looks forward to seeing and feeling.
Will he have to race the truck later tonight as well? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, so the truck's doing this.
Kansas City, Kansas. It's Kansas Speedway, and it is an absolutely gorgeous day. Clear skies, lots of sunshine, 82 degrees. Practice complete for the Camping World Truck Series, and they're getting lined up, getting ready to qualify, and then we'll have the race later tonight, which the temperatures still expected to be near 80. So looking forward to a great day here at the racetrack today. The man who is seeking career win number 1 and is oh so close with back-to-back runner-up finishes, Carson Hocevar, is with Josh.
And Carson Hocevar did not have the speed you wanted during practice. Sounded like you were dealing with a throttle issue. What was going on out there?
We were a bit loose, just right on edge. But yeah, my throttle pedal was sticking a good bit. Normally I'd want it here just to prove to them I'm wide open, right? But, obviously with it being loose and really hot right now, I need to lift. And I was like wide open down pit road having to pick it up with my foot. But hopefully got it fixed. But yeah, I mean, we're 17th on the board, but it was just too loose to hold it wide open. I think we got a little bit better, and I was able to pass like the 98 and the 99 right there at the end. So we handled really good in traffic. We just got to get a little bit faster for qualifying.
Carson Hocevar still looking for that first victory.
A little extra stress in Carson's life this week as his girlfriend Peyton was diagnosed with lymphoma earlier this week. So we certainly offer our thoughts and prayers to Peyton and her friends and family who are going through this time with her.
Yeah, racing becomes secondary when you have something like this happen in your life. And when I say that, I know you said 2 back-to-back finishes of second place for Carson. Winning tonight will be very special and dedicating it to Peyton.
He certainly had the opportunity, you would think, as we see Trey Hutchins on track, our first of 35 qualifiers here at Kansas, and Hutchins posted a 33.26 in practice.
I got to tell you, Vince, after racing cars for a long time and practice is over and now we're qualifying, this is like one of the coolest things ever. I still haven't gotten over how unique it is that you practice and, oh yeah, by the way, line up, we're going to go qualify, get this over with. And these truckers certainly understand. You heard Carson Hocevar say, I need to hold it wide open and I can't. I'm a little bit loose. But getting out there and getting your lap done and knowing what you have in your truck and how your speed will stack up against the others, this is just a lot of fun for me to watch.
Nice pickup from practice for Hutchins. This will be his first start of the season. Remember, he had that big hit last year at Charlotte. It was a scary incident. Made another start after that. This is his first start this season. And it'll be his first Truck Series start here at Kansas Speedway. Good looking 14 truck.
Yeah, when they first opened this track, I was racing and I couldn't get over back then how you could run mostly just wide open in an Xfinity car, and the way that the track looks like the banks aren't that steep, but they certainly had a lot of grip back in the day. I know that's gone away a bit, and some of it's gone, but still a thrill ride when you get on this mile-and-a-half track.
Here's Tyler Hill, the second truck out of the Timmy Hill Motorsports garage this weekend. Of course, Tyler and Timmy are brothers and often share the 56 truck, but Timmy in the 56 this week, Tyler in the 5.
You can see barely out of the gas as we look at our telemetry down on the bottom left of your screen. Upwards of 170 miles an hour, 75. I expect we'll see something over 180 as we work our way through this session.
Track record in qualifying, 30.101. That's 179.396 miles per hour, set back in 2015 by young Eric Jones. Fastest in that practice was Zane Smith, and he's with Josh.
Yeah, Zane, fastest during practice. You got to be happy with your truck. How you feeling about how this can set you up for later?
We're trying not to trace the race. I was screwed in the race, so I feel like it's going to be a decently different racetrack later at night, but as of right now, we have a fast truck.
Thanks and good luck, Zane.
Good look at the 43 truck on track now. That's Jessie Awuji.
Whoa. She slid up the hill with Jessie there.
Awuji? Whoa.
Yeah, that's right.
The Awuji.
You have those moments. I talk about 180 miles an hour. If it doesn't go as planned, you certainly get your attention in a hurry.
Woo becomes whoa real quickly. And of course, Hall of Fame running back, part of this effort.
And Jesse's a great story. He just loves racing, but his life's been full of more than just motorsports. Great athlete, and then serving our country for 7 years after he graduated, and teamed up with Emmett Smith here in the Xfinity Series. They got a beautiful car.
It's nice to have a Hall of Famer by your side, isn't it?
Yeah, the Michael Jordans and Emmett Smiths, all the athletes that appreciate what you do behind the wheel of a racing vehicle. That's really special.
The only former pole winner that's in the field today is Matt Crafton. He's with Josh.
Yeah, Matt Crafton, 3-time winner here at Kansas. Matt, it was a crazy week, I'm assuming, for you with the penalty, then having it overturned. How did you process all of this past week?
It's another day at the office. Just going to focus on Kansas. We had a very, very fast Menards Toyota Tundra in Darlington, and like I said, there was people that saw things the way we saw it and moved on from there. But we're here at Kansas, and I think we got another fast Menards Toyota Tundra. It's a little bit free, and we made some adjustments right now to see what we can do to make it better for tonight when the sun goes down. So I think we'll be all right.
Matt Crafton looking for win number 4 here at Kansas.
And I love what he said there. We were fast at Darlington, and he is right. They were at a great practice session here today. So that team, I think, is really starting to find some speed.
Speaking of speed.
Baby. P1 right now. Hell of a lap, man. Hell of a lap.
Yeah, baby.
Ryan Huff.
Tony McKell is the spotter, and Tim Silva, the crew chief, and they were relating their happiness to Huff for what he did. Finished top 20 here in 2020, so got some laps on this racetrack and did a nice job. I love that enthusiasm, right?
Absolutely.
You go out there to qualify, you want to hear that as soon as you cross the start-finish line, you feel like it was pretty good, and when your crew chief and spotter back you up and say that was awesome, that's a great feeling.
Not likely to stay there in the #1 position, but certainly a confidence builder, that's for sure, for Ryan Huff. As you see Blaine Perkins in the 9, his first time here at Kansas Speedway, but he's run all the races except one this season. Best of 25th on the dirt at Bristol.
You talked about Eric Jones having the track record right down around 30 flat. We saw a time in practice from Zane Smith around a 31 flat. I expect they'll pick that up. Whether they can get all the way down to 30 flat, I'm not sure. Probably look something in the low 20s or teens. So there's a lot more speed left on this racetrack. And there's some of it there down to a 32 flat. Now we got to climb down one more second and then almost another one.
It's a good looking truck too. I love that orange, white, and black combination. You get up close to it down in the garage area. It's a nice looking piece.
I love the attitude of the truck, Vince. After being a race car driver all those years, when you see that left front nose right down on the ground, you're like, yeah, this baby's going to go places. Coasting her back.
I love how, and you race car drivers, you just can look at the truck and the way it rolls on track and tell so much about it.
Chris Wright's taking the high road to the green flag.
It's just one lap for qualifying, one green flag lap.
You get her wound up the best you can. When you leave pit road, you got to charge. You know, you got to blow through those shifts and be wide open coming to the green. And he decided to make the track a little bit longer to continue to build the momentum. And it looks like it's working right now. He's able to get through 1 and 2 and off turn 2 with the fastest time so far.
Season best of 15th for Chris Wright at Coda.
Going to have about 3/10 on Blaine Perkins with this lap.
Nicely done. Chris Wright out of the Nice Motorsports camp. Cody Efaw and that group put a nice contingent on the track each week. And of course, that's a group led by Carson Hocevar as their top driver, who is so close to that first career win.
I'm a big Carson fan. I just got a strong hat game, as we know. Just a good spirit down there in that garage. Always a smile on his face.
We talked a little bit earlier about Corey Heim and the win earlier this season at his home track in Atlanta. He's with Josh.
And Corey Heim also has a win here in the ARCA Series here at Kansas. How can that help you here later tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Running double duty today is definitely going to be tough, but this JBL Tundra TRD Pro has been really quick all day. KBM's done a great job with this Kansas truck here. I ran it last year a couple times at a ton of speed, so I'm really looking forward to see what it's got.
There we go, Corey Heim looking for his second win of the season.
Yeah, and he mentioned the double duty, he's already gotten some ARCA laps in today. As you watch the 20 of Matt Mills. He'll also be in at Worldwide Technology later this season, and then Richmond as well. Garrett Smithley going to be in this truck next week. A good opportunity for a variety of drivers to get in with Young's Motorsports and get some experience.
That's been around a few years. Raced here in the Truck Series back in 17. Top 20 finish.
There's a couple of races under his belt this season, including a career best 15th at Las Vegas. So has some comfort on the 1.5 miles as you see him slotting in the 3rd position. How much do you take, Mike, from the fact that Las Vegas, 1.5 miles, obviously we went to Atlanta as well, different these days, but let's focus on Las Vegas. Same tire as what they run here at Kansas, and the similarity of the two tracks is that an advantage for those that performed well at Las Vegas to come here and expect good things to happen?
I think there's a couple of answers to that question, Vince. And first, yes, if you ran well at Vegas, and that's the only thing we really have to compare it to, in my eyes, with this track. They're so much alike. You mentioned the tire. but also what have we done with our team since then? We've had 3 months to develop. You know, we've been able to tweak what we took to Vegas. We've been able to learn from other tracks that we've run on. What are we bringing to Kansas that's going to make us a contender to win this race? And this is, we know what our schedule lays out with Texas and Charlotte, a couple more mile and a half. So this is an important stretch in the season to see who, as we're halfway to our playoffs, see who has their trucks tuned up and exactly what they're going to be able to perform, how they're going to be able to perform here at Kansas. This is a great lap.
Yeah, Chase Purdy. One of the trucks out of the Hattori Racing garage, fastest at 31:19. Only 8 have qualified. Plenty to go at Kansas. Sunny and 82 at Kansas Speedway, and qualifying is underway for the Camping World Truck Series. Racing later tonight. You'll see it here on FS1. Speaking of the one, there's Haley Deegan, the 9th qualifier of the session. When you talk about somebody that needs to have a good result, Haley is in that position. She has not caught many breaks this season.
Got her all wound up there off pit road and run high through 3 and 4. See how much throttle she can give it. There's 179. We're going to scratch out that 180 pretty soon, Vince. A lot of throttle through 1 and 2, and she's the fastest so far. Narrowly, but right now she holds an advantage over Chase Purdy.
3 finishes outside the top 30 this season. 4 DNFs, most recently last week at Darlington, and there was so much expected of her this season and this team to take that step forward after a rookie season last year. And just hasn't happened for her, and she has been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
They ran a 19. That's a good lap, Haley.
So many times this season. Hopes to get that turned around here this week at Kansas. Back down to Josh.
Yeah, here with Ben Rhodes, and during practice I heard you come over the radio say you were really pleased with the truck. Showed speed. You got to feel good heading into qualifying and more importantly the race.
Yeah, it was right in the slot to start at practice. I mean, these guys at Thor Sport Racing gave me a really good 10 to Toyota Tundra right off the bat, so I was pretty pleased, like you said, but we made some adjustments to try to get some sensitivity the second round, or the second run that we made, and I think we got a good plan for the race. We just need to qualify here in the top 5, get a good starting spot, and get stage points. After an incident last week, we need to make up some points and try to get that points lead that we got now built back up.
Truck right in the groove for Ben Rose. That's a dangerous, dangerous notion right there, guys.
Well, and as he mentioned, he is the points leader in the regular season, and if you win that regular season points title, you get 15 extra bonus points, playoff points, and that is a huge, huge gain if you can finish it off. But it's been a career year. Most laps led, most top 5s, most stage points, most stage wins, and we say a career year. He won the championship last year. He's been even better this season.
I'm just proud of him that he got out 10 to Toyota Tundra.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's a sponsor that he's had. He probably sits at home and practices that a bit.
Josh Rayom slotting into the 6th position as you see the 12 of Spencer Boyd roll out.
And you saw there Spencer in a big hurry, the nose up in the air when you leave pit road, just gunning it as hard as you can. We talked about this earlier, Vince, but it's really important to maximize your speed all the way from the time you crank your engine till you take the green, because that'll affect your second lap if you got a little more momentum coming to the green.
By the way, if you're a Tate Fogelman fan and you realize Tate was skipped in the qualifying order, they've had a mechanical issue in that 30 truck, and he will not qualify, so he'll still make the field tonight, but he'll have to start at the rear.
When Josh interviewed Matt Crafton, he was ready to move on from the penalty from Darlington, and so I texted him and said, what happened? And he just simply said, damage. And so when you got a truck that's damaged, the appeal board decided that caused the truck to be low, and Matt is ready to move on. And I'm telling you what, moving on means he's moving on with some fast trucks these days too. So Spencer Boyd slots into the 7th spot so far, 32.51, and his number 12 truck.
Back down to Josh.
Here with Chandler Smith, back on a 1.5 mile track. That's where you excel. How you feeling going into this race and going into qualifying?
Yeah, I feel really good. I'm really happy to be here with my Charge Me Quick Type products, Toyota Tundra. We didn't have the speed, I guess you could necessarily say, as everybody else did in practice. We didn't have anybody drafting or anything like that. But our overall raw speed, our maneuverability, the truck driving just good. I felt really good about it. So I'm looking forward to tonight. And we're about to play the waiting game after qualifying for quite a while.
That's the key right there. It's all about the waiting game.
Well, and Mike, we made the comparison to what we're dealing with here to what we dealt with at Las Vegas. Of course, Chandler Smith was the winner at Las Vegas. Give him a leg up on the things tonight.
Well, that was a great run, too. You had to beat Kyle Busch. And when you do that, that's probably a pretty good assessment of your talent and how much it takes to be up front like he's been all season long. So, yes, I think that they came here with a lot of confidence based on their Vegas result.
Austin Wayne Self, the only incident in practice, he spun off turn 2. Didn't hit anything, so they put new tires on it and roll him out for qualifying, and he's third quick so far.
Think of that mentality, Vince. Spun out the last time he was on the track. How about just running wide open down into turn 1 and 2, please? Nice effort there for Austin Wayne Self.
What's that like for a driver?
You have to, the thing that I try to explain, and you see another truck just hammering it in that Monster Energy, Riley Herbst off of pit road, making sure he's getting all he can get. What I liked in it too, Vince, is when you go down in the corner, if you let off because you don't know what it's going to do, it's too late. And so you just have to commit. You have to be committed. You have to say the team adjusted, this thing's going to stick, and I'm going to run it wide open until I have to let off. I'm not going to assume I'm going to let off. It's all about just confidence in your team. Knowing the conditions and then committing to trying to run her wide open.
Confidence and commitment. Yeah, two big words.
And look at that. You see the speed down on the bottom left. He got it up over 180 miles an hour and only down to 175 off the corner. See, he's tracking in a great direction in this number 17 truck. Just barely off the gas and then back right down eventually. Oh no, see him going up the hill and then the tracker related to that. He had a bit of a slip there.
17 out of the DGR garage and fastest and the first one under 31 flat so far.
That's the fastest time of the day. It was a little bit quicker than Zane Smith was in our practice session.
You saw the 15 of Tanner Gray sitting there in pit road. He was scheduled to qualify prior to Riley Herbst, so the 15 is on the clock. Make sure they get that issue corrected. As you see the rookie Jack Wood. Looks like they've gotten whatever issue Tanner Gray was having. They've gotten that solved and he'll be next out. Jack Wood is one of those drivers, youngster, season best 13th at Atlanta, was 18th last week at Darlington, and he's really working through things in his first full season here in the Camping World Truck Series. Such a pleasant young guy. I've enjoyed visiting with him multiple times throughout the course of the campaign and really embraces the challenge of learning week in, week out.
Well, just think his eyes are wide open, as you said, Vince, learning and understanding what it takes to run up in the top 10 and how do you stay there. Good lap.
Second quick.
Just edged out Chase Purdy in that 61 truck.
Of course, he's a teammate of Grant Enfinger, and as we see Tanner Gray roll off.
Look at that nose, Vince. It's all up in the air, right? That doesn't look good at all. Now watch as the aerodynamics and the shocks take over. That thing doesn't take long just to seal right straight to the ground. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's engineering at its best right there. The team's understanding how to get through technical inspection and then getting the truck to be right where they want it.
What do you make of this team this season? Started out 4th, 5th, and 8th. Since then, 17th, 21st, 15th, 34th. Going the wrong direction.
I don't want to think about it. I mean, you got to focus on what you did well. And we talked about Vegas. He had a solid run out there. So just some bad luck. This is a really talented young racer. Been a bit of a rough few races for him, but I feel like when you have speed, Vince, that's what, as a race car driver, that's what you fall back on. We're always fast. We're going to get there. And when you have that, everything will eventually take care of itself. Sort of like we talked about John Hunter Nemechek not winning yet. Well, he's going to win. He's that fast. and he certainly did with an exclamation point last week. Now Tanner Gray just needs to get a top 5, certainly capable of doing so, and it needs to happen right here.
Yeah, Jerry Baxter, veteran crew chief, guiding him along the way. Back to Josh.
I'm down here with Christian Eckes, finished 6th or better in your last 3 starts here at Kansas. What suits your driving style about this track?
It's just fun, you know, the ability to move around. It's going to be big tonight, especially because of how hot it is and slick. And yeah, it's a cool racetrack for sure. Our curb records Toyota Tundra wasn't that great in practice, but looking forward to a good qualifying here, hopefully, and a fun rate under the lights tonight.
Thanks and good luck, Christian.
Eckes mentioned the heat. A lot of times you think, well, at night it'll be significantly cooler, but when we get started tonight, I mean, we're talking 82 now. Granted, the sun is out, but it'll be still almost 80 degrees when we go racing tonight. But how much difference does the sun make versus the sun going down and being a race under the dark?
We're definitely going to have more grip, which means more action, because these guys will be able to stick it in the corner 3 and 4 wide at times. So I think that the extra grip and the extra speed that we have tonight is just going to make better racing. You got more confidence when that sun goes down. It's nighttime is the right time, as my brother always likes to say, and this is a perfect example of that, just that, how these guys will be more aggressive because of the extra grip that they'll have tonight.
Another rookie, Dean Thompson, 6th fastest so far. About halfway through qualifying here at Kansas. Stay with us, Camping World Truck Series. Camping World Truck Series qualifying from Kansas Speedway on a beautiful Saturday afternoon as Lawless Allen rolls out. 35 drivers will take qualifying times today and start the race later tonight. You see Tate Fogelman there at the bottom of the pylon. They had a mechanical issue. He was not able to qualify. We'll start at the rear. While we watch Lawless Allen get up to speed, let's check in with Josh.
3 top 10s the last 4 weeks for Tyler Ankrum. What's been the difference for you that things are really coming together for this team?
Oh, we've just been building. I mean, I think that's really ultimately what we've been doing, is just we're all starting to figure each other out, and we're starting to pull all the puzzle pieces together. So, I mean, I don't really know what the secret sauce is, but we're working our way up there. I mean, it's new race weekend every single weekend, so you just got to have that attitude and figure it out.
Thanks and good luck, Tyler.
How about the challenges of a young racer like a Tyler Ankrum going to a new team and getting acclimated?
Whoa, that was a near miss there.
Easy here, down to the flat.
Easy.
Yeah, I don't think you have to tell him easy at that point.
It looks like he clipped it a little bit, started wobbling. It was going to be a good one.
Talking about clipping the apron is what the spotter reported does happen. Let's see if that's the case. Yep, good call there. You could see just the nose got down too low on that white line, and it got him really, really loose.
Is that apron is at a different angle to the track, right?
And you want to be off the road right here on the front straightaway just to make the track shorter, but where he got too low is a no-no. On entry, made the truck loose.
Derek Kraus in the 19. Another one of those drivers that needs a good run here this weekend. Only 1 top 10 this season, but he's been good here at Kansas. Top 10 in 3 of the 4 races here, and he slots in the 2nd spot. If there's a place where he's going to turn it around, I think this might be it for Derek Kraus.
Well, Derek, when he showed up driving for Bill McAnally, he just had speed. He's been fast since he started in the Truck Series. It's just been a bit of a rough season so far, but they'll get it together.
Here's Jesse Little, good racer, making this start here at Kansas Speedway.
You can see Vince just got a little low there on the white line, and loose he went.
Yes, way up out of the line. This is his 5th of 12 races he has scheduled with Young's Motorsports.
He knows how to not only drive a truck, he can build it, pit it, whatever you need Jesse to do. That's what he's going to sign up for to get these opportunities.
Was 6th at Daytona to open up the season. His first start here at Kansas in a truck, but he has 3 Xfinity Series starts here. Little is 8th quickest so far, and back to Josh.
here with Grant Enfinger coming off your first top 5 finish of the season. Sounded like during practice you guys were a little loose. Were you guys able to rectify that situation, or what's going on?
You'll have to ask Charles tonight, my crew chief, that. But yeah, I think overall we're starting to build some momentum with these GMS Racing Chevys. We got big expectations coming into today, but practice did not. Our Champion Power Equipment Chevy did not feel how I wanted it to. So we worked really hard. Hopefully we got some for him in the race.
There you go. Good luck.
Look forward to seeing the piece later tonight on race day. You spent some time with Grant this week.
Yeah, I talked about his career and his motivation, his desires, everything he loves about this sport, and did a little barbecuing since we were coming to Kansas. Got things kicked off. Had a
barbecue. Wilbur, the pig's okay though, right?
Yeah. What? I was nervous, man. That pig was looking at us like, "What are y'all? I don't understand what's happening here." But Grant's such a great young man. I mean, he just loves the opportunity to get to go race. And last year was a bit of a struggle. You know, he didn't have a full-time gig, and now to be back with GMS and having the opportunity he does, he's just really happy and thankful. And I think you'll enjoy our conversation.
Look forward to seeing that tonight on race day as you watch Corey Heim. Timmy Hill slotted into the 12th position. He was previous to the 51.
There you have it.
To the top is Corey Heim at a 30.68.
That's creeping on down toward the 30 flat that we talked about. We've just slowly progressed in that direction as we take a look at the guys that have got it done this season so far.
Zane Smith, the only multiple winner, won at Daytona and COTA. 3 KBM drivers, Chandler Smith, Corey Heim, John Hunter Nemechek.
Where's that other one?
Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him hit the winner's circle yet.
Isn't it?
0 for 2, but anticipate he'll probably get there before it's all said and done.
I wouldn't bet against him. This is a young man that I've enjoyed watching get up to speed since Daytona, when he drove basically sideways the whole race. And I felt like he showed great truck control, has a lot of ability. And in fact, the last 2 races, he's got inside the top 15. So that's progression, and it's fun to see.
Hey, by the way, you mentioned Kyle, and we mentioned him. Just offer our congratulations to he and Samantha, and son Brexton added daughter Lennox to the family this week, and so happy for them.
What beautiful photos those were of that baby. I'm too, like you, Vince, very thankful that they get to celebrate the birth of the child.
And both you and I are girl dads, and can just tell Kyle what a blessing that is in the experience that he'll get to enjoy throughout the years.
You know what I love? Every day just gets better. You love them more every day, and that's a great feeling.
Good run for Colby Howard, living up to your hype, Mike.
Yeah.
With a 31-14.
I like this cat. This is our champion, and I like to say senior spokesperson for the truck series, and guess what? He's 25. That's a great thing.
Man, what a year it has been. Of course, they had the accident at Darlington and ended up 25th, but they were good there, and they had an accident, finished 31st at Las Vegas. They had won stage 1 and stage 2 prior to that accident. I mean, he has been good everywhere, and as you'd expect a series champion to be, and indicated maybe they didn't quite have the speed that they were looking for, and 8th quickest.
And their adjustments didn't work much, Vince. He was really loose down in turns 1 and 2. So that's a head scratcher they'll have to try to figure out. But the weather's going to change. We talked about that. You know, if I'm the crew chief, I'm talking my driver up about, oh, you know, that thing going to be right tonight.
Here's Chandler Smith, Kyle Busch Motorsports driver, and Josh is with another.
Yeah, John Hunter Nemechek coming off his first win of the season. A bunch of mile-and-a-half tracks coming up, right in your groove for you.
Yeah, it definitely is. We were fast here last year. We've been fast at all the mile-and-a-halves last year. We still have a little bit of work to do this year, but felt like the guys have brought me a really strong Mobil 1 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. So we'll see where we end up qualifying. Not sure if we have really good fire-off speed, but we should race good tonight. So I'm just taking all of that into account, and we don't have to try and beat the boss tonight. So hopefully we can take home the dub.
John Hunter Nemechek trying to go back-to-back, guys.
Yeah, with Kyle Busch having won 3 times here at Kansas, those guys are happy that they don't have to beat him. And how about KBM 1-2 and John Hunter still yet to qualify? I mean, it could be a KBM sweep up there at the top of the podium.
Matty D, Matt DiBenedetto, didn't have a lot of speed in practice, and he's tracking inside the top 10, but I know that's not what he expected.
They had a bit of a mechanical issue at the tail end of practice as well, and there was some concern they were going to be able to get things in order to qualify, and good that he has put down a lap, 7th quickest at a 181. Still just under 10 to go. Qualifiers, including that man, Zane Smith. We've got some fast ones lined up and ready to qualify, including this driver, Christian Eckes. Can anybody top Corey Heim at a 36.88 here at Kansas Speedway? Camping World Truck Series qualifying, setting the lineup for the race later tonight here on FS1. Eckes, a former winner on the 1.5 miles. In fact, he has one career win, and that came last September at Las Vegas.
Wow, Christian took the low line coming to the green. Interesting. See how that pays off when he gets here to 1.
Normally, would you want to stay up top to try to get that engine wound up as much as possible, or what's the advantage or disadvantage there?
Well, he went through 3 and 4 up high, and I think he just thought that the diving to the bottom would give him even more momentum. Most people kind of stay on the road to take the green and then bail out, come into the checker like Christian's doing here.
ThorSport ran 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 13th was Eckes in the practice. That brief 20-minute session we had.
Said he loves this track, though, so that's always fun for the team to know that their driver, this is one of his favorite tracks of all. You got to like them all, obviously, and if you're good at them all, that makes it easier. But some of them still just suit your fancy a little bit better.
Here's Tyler Ankrum. We heard from him a little bit earlier, visiting with Josh downstairs. Hattori Racing, Scott Zipadelli, the crew chief on this machine. I look for this team to be better in the second half of the season, but they're trying to make some gains here in the initial half. Hard to believe we're halfway through the regular season. Then there will be 7 playoff races, but we still got a long way to go. But you don't want to dig a hole, because time will start slipping away rather quickly.
If you're watching at home and you think, here comes Stuart Friesen, think again.
That's Bubba Wallace in the 52. Friesen's had some travel issues, got delayed on his trip, is stuck in Chicago, and Trip Bruce called Bubba Wallace this morning and said, hey, can you jump in our 52 Toyota Tundra? And Bubba said, sure. And here he is.
And this is a good lap.
Anticipate that Friesen should be here in time to race the truck tonight. If that's the case, he'll start at the back. But Bubba, as mentioned by Michael, putting up a good lap. 8:66.
Here comes another guy that I was really impressed with in practice today. See how Matt is able to fare.
The only driver in the field who is a former Kansas pole winner. He won the pole in May of 19. 3 wins here too, so that's got to give you some confidence coming into a track like this, regardless of where you qualify.
That's right. It's going to change a lot tonight. You pointed it out, Vince, with the sun going down, things will be different. So it was pretty evident after practicing qualifying last week, as we talked earlier, that John Hunter was the favorite. I guess if I was going to pick a favorite based on practice earlier, it would be Zane Smith. That 38 truck looked like it had a lot of speed. Obviously, for one lap, he was the fastest, but his long run speed was good as well.
Here's Grant Enfinger. Got off to a little bit of a slow start this season, but they have really picked it up. 4 straight top 10s, including a season best 3rd last week at Darlington.
I asked him about the, check it out. There's the launch.
Zane Smith, right-hand side of your screen.
Anyway, I was talking with Grant, Vince, and he said it just felt so good to see the checker flag fall, and he'd be right there in touch with the leaders after the rough start that they got off to. A lot of confidence for this young man. Let's listen to this. Wide open, coming to the green. Will he go off the road? Certainly does. Wow. A lot of gas there. Still not able to get in touch with Corey Heim. That tells you what a super lap that was.
That's for sure.
It's one of those laps when you come on the radio and say, that's all I had, boys.
Boy, he never got out of the gas, and it's still about a 1/10.5 slower than Corey Heim.
Well, that's a great sign for
Good lap right there, P2.
Yep. And Zane Smith and his crew chief, Chris Lawson, will take that. That's for sure. They were really excited about this truck and bringing it here this weekend. As we see Ty Majeski.
You said you talked to him about the truck, and he said we've really done some R&D and think we've got something that's better than what we had.
Yep. So we'll see if that comes to fruition tonight in the race. Certainly looked good in qualifying, sitting P2. And Majeski was second quick in that practice session earlier this afternoon, or this morning, I guess.
He's tracking second in this session. Oh, lost it right there at the checker. Nope, nearly lost it.
Yeah. So as good as that Zane Smith lap was, Majeski betters it by 3/1,000 at an 8:25.
Is that about an inch or two, Vince?
It can't be much more than that. Here's Carson Hocevar, back-to-back runner-up finishes. 6 drivers have gotten their first career wins here at Kansas through the years. Is Hocevar got to be a prime candidate to add his name to that list?
100%. He's just nipping away at him. Very close. He's really committed on this lap. Great job by the young man.
But down in 15th.
We heard that concern when we interviewed him earlier about, where's the speed? That's when your crew chief says that we're going to race well tonight.
Here's the last of the bunch. John Hunter Nemechek. Can he knock his teammate Corey Heim off pole position? Nemechek last week at Darlington won the pole, led the most laps, and won the race.
He only won the pole at Darlington by about 4/10, Vince.
And nipped him. He nipped him.
He's stocking a 10th or so on him right now. Can he keep it down? Loses a little bit off turn 4, but that's the pole.
He did it. John Hunter Nemechek, 3rd pole this season. The only driver with multiple poles.
57. Nice job, guys.
He's 24 years old. Seems like he's been around forever, but he is not even 25 years old yet.
That's incredible. You think of the youth in the truck series and our champion Ben Rhodes at 25. I guess if you wanted to play who's older, I would have guessed John Hunter is more, but that just tells you how much experience and what all he's accomplished at such a young age.
Toyota scoring their 8th pole here at Kansas. David Wilson, TRD and company, always, the manufacturers always take particular pride in being the fastest.
Yes. It's a good looking Mobil 1 Toyota for sure.
So it's a KBM front row. John Hunter Nemechek and Corey Heim. Corey on the front row for the first time in his young Truck Series career. Coming back to Kansas in a moment.
In NASCAR, the journey begins with one simple start. Turn, bump, grind, pit, pass, win, and celebration. I am the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. I am NASCAR.
John Hunter Nemechek, our pole winner for the 3rd time this season. He'll try to go back-to-back, not just winning the pole last week at Darlington, but he won the race as well. Can he do it again this weekend here at Kansas Speedway? We'll find out later tonight. Meanwhile, let's go downstairs to Josh.
John Hunter Nemechek on the pole for tonight's race. This is how last week started. Do you kind of feel like you got the same vibe that it could happen again?
I'm pumped up. Like I told you before we went out to qualify, all the guys on this number 4 KBM Toyota Tundra TRD Pro team have brought a really fast piece. I'm just lucky enough to be the one behind the wheel, holding the steering wheel and working the pedals. But Mobile One colors are looking fast for sure, so it's always good to start up front. Hopefully we can stay there. Felt like we were fast here last year, and Kyle just outdueled us a little bit there at the end, and I learned a lot. So I think him and I actually sat down and went over this race at one point. So I'm going to try and put all of that knowledge to use and stay up front and try and go get a win. But got to say hi to Aspen and Taylor back at home, bringing home a toy car for Aspen. So she'll have a lot of fun with it.
That sounds awesome. And I know the start of the season didn't necessarily go the way you wanted, even though you had fast trucks. How nice is it to be in this groove right now where you kind of feel like you're getting what you want out here on the track?
It feels good. We have some momentum on our side, I feel like, as well. We've been fast all year. We just didn't have the final finishing results that I feel like we needed. We were up front, we were leading laps, we were winning stages, and we just couldn't quite finish where I feel like we needed to. So to have a string of top 5 finishes, top 3 finishes, and then grab our first win of the season last week, and going into this long stretch, I definitely feel like momentum is huge and can be key. So just got to stay on top of it, not get ahead of ourselves, and play each race weekend as it comes and do the best that we can. If we can win, let's go win. If not, you got to salvage a really good day out of it and learn from it, and try and carry that over into the races. I just don't want to peak too early this year and not have a shot to go and win the championship.
Thanks, and good luck tonight, John Hunter.
Boy, and I tell you what, this is a stretch of the season with back-to-back mile-and-a-halfs to follow. He could really string some together. Beautiful Saturday afternoon at Kansas Speedway. Going to be a busy day today. Got the ARCA race coming up, and we're going to race the trucks later tonight with this starting lineup. John Hunter Nemechek winning pole, and his teammate Corey Heim alongside on the front row.
Tanner Gray, Matt Crafton round out the top 10, and Colby Howard. Talked about him earlier. It's his career best start. See him there in the 11th position.
Rookie Jack Wood, defending champ Ben Rhodes back in row 8. As you see Grant Infinger in there back in row 11, and got some work to do yet tonight. 35 will start the race later this evening.
Tate Fogelman will have company back there from Stuart Friesen. He just texted me and said, I'm on the ground in Kansas, so he's going to be driving that 52 truck tonight.
Yep, so Bubba Wallace practiced and qualified it. Stuart Friesen will get in to run the race, so he'll start at the back, and you see our lineup for the rest of the day. Race Hub coming up next. For Josh Sims, Michael Waltrip, I'm Vince Welch. Thanks for being with us for Camping World Truck Series qualifying. Now let's go to Charlotte and Race Hub with Shannon Spake.
Thank you so much, Vince. Hope you guys are having fun out there.